Hello, friend. Today I'm going to share the darkest place in the USA.
And if you love podcasts, you will love this app that creates podcast moment mixtapes. Let's go!
My cool sheet has to do with the outdoors, and this is the newest, biggest dark sky reserve. So let me tell you a little bit history about this. On April 7th, 2022, very recently, the Greater Big Bend International Dark Sky Reserve was granted the designation by the International Dark Sky Association. This covers an area comprising 9 million acres from Fort Davis, Texas to the Rio Grande River and into the Sierra del Carmen Mountains of Coahuila, Mexico. This is not only the largest protected dark sky place in the world, but it also marks the first binational reserve that has ever been established. Earning the rarest of dark sky designations is a rigorous process. This might seem easy, like, oh, it's dark, okay, no problem. But actually, elements of this designation were in the work for decades, and that requires support and policy collaboration between local communities and organizations to protect the dark core zone areas rich in natural and cultural significance in that area. Asked just how rigorous of a process it was, an IDA official said, the McDonald Observatory has been working on dark sky efforts for decades. Several peripheral partners are already certified dark sky places, which took years of effort as well. Goes on to say, I would say this committee started in earnest to work on their application to apply around January 2021, but the entire process to build this whole thing spans years and years and years. So it's no small feat, and one that will benefit wildlife, ecology, astronomical research, and also tourism in the area. And this is important because it is estimated today that over 80% of the world and more than 99% of the US population lives in areas with light pollution capable of drowning out all sorts of things, and most people can't even see the Milky Way. So this is really wonderful, the Big Bend Dark Sky Reserve.
Okay, I'm glad you said that last part, because at first I was like, wait, what is a dark sky? Like, is that like the dark web or like the
Oh yeah, dark sky. So, and we've talked about this in a cool sheet, and I meant to look up which one. We've talked about light pollution and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so dark sky is when you can see the stars.
When you can see the stars,
yeah. There's not lights around and things like that. Okay,
right.
It took me a while just because I'm a little slow on the upload.
Well, no,
today.
And that's actually, that's a good reminder for me that this term dark sky, I hear all the time because I'm in astronomy, but it's a weird word. It's not a normal
And I watch
term.
too many Marvel movies, so I'm like, ooh, the dark sky.
The dark sky.
That's like some kind of evil.
What's his superpower or whatever?
Exactly. So yeah, oh, that sounds really cool. Now that I know what it is, it sounds even cooler. So thank you so much for sharing that.
You are welcome.
Do you have any plans to go there or do anything like that?
I would love to. I mean, as soon as I read this, I was like, okay, how can I make this happen? And my youngest is going to start going to University of New Mexico next year, which is not far from this place.
Well,
so
close.
That's kind of where my cogs were going. Yeah.
A visit / field trip?
Yes, exactly.
Cool. Well, I hope you get to make it.
Yeah, me too.
All right. I'm going to be talking about an app, and this app is called Hark. Now, I love podcasts, but lately, I haven't listened to them as often as I used to. So actually, the tagline for Hark is break out of your podcast rut. Hark editors curate amazing podcast moments into one-of-a-kind playlists. And they also call them podcast moment mixtapes, which I just love that description. So essentially what they do is they take one topic and they play snippets from different podcasts on that specific topic. So some examples are unleash your inner optimism. So there's 9 different clips from 9 different podcasts that equal 37 minutes. There's conversations with BIPOC chefs, 14 clips, 46 minutes. So they go very specific on, so it's not just BIPOC, but it's BIPOC chefs. There's Crash Course on NFTs. There's a few of my favorite moments from Song Exploder, which Song Exploder was a cool sheet of mine on episode 6. Talk about old school. There's also Tame Your Anxiety, History's Greatest Art Heists, What Made Us Laugh, Voices on Ayahuasca. There's a Hark Daily, so that's the best podcast moments in news, culture, and more every day. So that's kind of a mixed bag, which is really cool if you just want to kind of keep up on current events. You can listen to just one snippet if you want. You can listen to all of them. Each time you listen to one snippet, it has a link to the full episode, so you can go to the full one if you really like it and you want to hear more. You can suggest a clip to add to that topic Hark clip, which is really cool. You can go to certain topics in the search bar, like science, books, movies, wellness, food and drinks, sports, news and politics, business, tech, comedy, music, society and culture, and history. Their editors are obsessed with finding those moments of podcast genius. I just love everything about this app, Hark.
I'm gonna love this.
Yes, for sure.
Oh my gosh.
It's perfect. It's for us. It's for anybody that likes this show.
Totally.
Like cherry picking all the best moments. And like I said, if you really love it, if you're like, whoa, I want to know more about that specific podcast, what that person said, you can listen to the whole 40 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever that full podcast is. You can discover new podcasts this way, I bet. It's really good. But the one, every time I look at it, it's really good podcasts that I know. You know,
That's
The
cool.
Daily, Science Versus, Stuff You Should Know, Radiolab.
10 bestest.
10 bestest.
Are we on there
I
yet?
did register or whatever you do with your podcast, but now I need to start like feeding them some clips when we talk about stuff. But usually we're talking about other podcasts and what they talked about, so they're like, well, why do we need you? But hey, well, we got some original ones in here somewhere.
I think so.
Here and there.
Definitely. It was just last night. I took a walk and I was like, I want to listen to a podcast. And I was kind of looking through and I'm like, There wasn't anything that really struck my fancy.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't need to strike your fancy, but you go in and then they have a whole bunch of stuff that's going to like pique your interest.
Yeah,
or
because they
whatever.
kind of have on their front page, they have like their little best of, or things we think you might like. I'm sure they start to learn your habits.
Right.
And I think every week, I think you sign up for a newsletter if you want, and they'll send you like, oh, here's like our top ones for this week. And like I said, they keep up with current events a lot. So if something happens, like when the war in Ukraine first started, they had a bunch of different podcasts curated about that. With the Will Smith Oscar thing, they had all the takes on that, the hot takes on that.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. And you could just hear, and like I said, if you just want to hear one of them, you just you could even look at the list, pick your favorite. Oh, I know the Daily's really good. I love them. But I only want to listen to 5 minutes of it. And boom, you just listen to that part, and then you're off and running, just doing something else.
Cool.
So, it's totally customizable. It's really, really cool.
I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And if you want to learn about any of the things that we're talking about on this episode, you can go to 10bestest.com/darksky. Thank you for joining us, friend. I'm Karen McFarland Holman.
And I'm Brian Hart.
Let us know in the comments, have you heard of a dark site before?
And let us know, what's your favorite podcast?
If you're enjoying the show, please give us a like and share it with a friend.
Stay tuned for another wonderful show.
And don't forget to stay curious.